Hello, everyone. Let me know if you have audio in the live chat. I see our favorite people in the live chat. Marco is here. Yeah, Ishobham, Darko, Einar? I'm not sure. Wow, my people are here. Guys, if you're watching this later and you're not the live stream, that's because you didn't hit the bell button. Okay, make sure you're not just subscribed, but you're subscribed, but also hit the bell button on YouTube. And also, we're also live streaming on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch, follow us on Twitch. Please, link in the description. Anyways, can you confirm audio? Actually, I can check myself. Yeah. Yep, audio is good. Freelance opportunist is also in the live chat. Anyways, let's get right into it. So this is a video just like very recently, July 28th, by Secular Talk or Kyle Kulinski. Let's just watch. Let me know if you hear Kyle speak once I start playing.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Yoho are continuing to go back and forth in the public eye.
Oh, wow. Wait. This is on double speed. I need to make it normal speed. Sorry. There we go.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Yoho are continuing to go back and forth in the public eye. So I want to show you the development, what's happened. So when we spoke about this recently, I believe what had happened was Ted Yoho gave his non-apology apology on the floor of Congress. And so I covered that, and we discussed how he ended it by saying, like, I will not apologize for my passion. I will not apologize for my God. I will not apologize for my family. It was just all like, nobody ever told you to apologize for any of those things ever. And you're trying to like change the topic because you got caught being a dick. Just own up to it. You were a dick. Actually apologize and move on. That's it. He didn't do that. He had to like make it a grandiose thing. I'm on the right side, Seth. It's like, okay, just fucking relax. Pipe down, fuckface. But anyway, so
okay, making it a grandiose thing. Remember that when he's describing the other side, and then remember, let's see how AOC speaks as well.
We covered it. And my commentary was like, wow, Ted Yoho is ridiculous. The thing that pissed me off the most was the thing that he keeps repeating about how Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is like telling people to commit crimes if they're poor. He's making it seem like she's giving people the green light to commit crimes when what she was saying was an explanation of where she thinks crime comes from. She's saying, well, of course, poverty will lead to an increase in the crime rate. Because when you don't have anything, those people are more likely to try to steal to get things. Like, that's the point she was making, but he was making it seem like she was morally asserting it is okay and I will allow you to, like, commit crimes if you're poor. That's not what she said. But he lied about it and kept repeating it. So anyway, he was super obnoxious with that. And so Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went on the floor of the House. Here she is responding to his non-apology apology. You're going to see little snippets of that here. And then also, I'm going to show you here, Ted Yoho went on Fox News after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez responded to his non-apology. And he said some more stuff. So I'll show you what both of them are saying, and then we'll discuss.
2 days ago, I was walking up the steps of the Capitol when Representative Yoho suddenly turned a corner, and he was accompanied by Representative Roger Williams, and accosted me on the steps right here in front of our nation's Capitol. I was minding my own business, walking up the steps, and Representative Yoho put his finger in my face. He called me disgusting. He called me crazy. He called me out of my mind. And he called me dangerous. And then he took a few more steps. And after I had recognized his comments as rude, he walked away and said, "I'm rude. You're calling me rude." I took a few.
Okay, so far it's just like not that big of a deal. Like, but let's continue.
Few steps ahead, and I walked inside and cast my vote, because my constituents send me here each and every day to fight for them and to make sure that they are able to keep a roof over their head, that they're able to feed their families, and that they're able to carry their lives with dignity.
Yes, that's called doing your job, just like what you're supposed to be doing. Stop acting like you're so virtuous because you're doing what people, that's part of your job description.
I walked back out, and there were reporters in the front of the Capitol. And in front of reporters, Representative Yoho called me, and I quote, "a fucking bitch." These are the words that Representative Yoho levied against a congresswoman.
Right, so that's pretty rude, okay, if it happened and uncalled for. And you could call it as rude, but I'm not sure if it deserves. Where is this right now? Is this like the House floor or something? Like, does this deserve? Like, I've been called way worse things than that. I'm not sure. I didn't imagine if I make a video, guys, and comment to tell you guys, guys, today I was somebody. Like, imagine if just make a whole video dedicated to this. I was commenting and on the video was live streaming with somebody, and the other guy, and the other person on the other side called me a fucking dick. It gets worse, by the way, but imagine if that was the purpose of the entire video, okay? And you would be like, what a waste of my time. Is that like, Armin, is that what you're okay, yeah, the other guy is rude. I think some of you might feel betrayed that I wasted your time with that. But imagine if I take the time of like that taxpayer money and like all of that to just dedicate something like this to, oh, people were rude to me. Okay, but but fair enough. Somebody was rude to you. If they're congressperson and they're not supposed to be, like, this is below the level of civilized discussion. They were rude. I'm not sure why you're making a big deal about it. But let's continue. Let's see how much worse it gets.
The congresswoman that not only represents New York's 14th congressional district, but every congresswoman and every woman in this country, because all of us have had to deal with this in some form, some way, some shape, at some point in our life.
By the way, when she says all of us, she's talking about women, right? Hold on.
Dehumanizing language is not new. And what we are seeing is that incidents like these are happening in a pattern. This is a pattern of...
I like how people slow down just to make sure that it makes it much more dramatic and epic. This is a pattern
of an attitude towards women and dehumanization,
because people are not rude to men. Okay, the pattern that she's noticing is that people say use demeaning and insulting language towards women, and the pattern that she's noticing is that it happens to women. Do you have any? Okay, hold on. I'm not sure. Okay, so here's the thing. If you notice there's, I hope people don't think, actually people will think this, so I have to clarify. People think this because they're idiots, by the way. People might think that I'm dismissing sexism against women. I'm acting like that's not a thing, okay? Sexism against women is a real thing, and it's a problem. Like, if you, for example, let's say you're a waitress at a restaurant and people constantly are treating you like they have the right to talk to you in demeaning ways because you're a woman and you look beautiful or anything like that. And, you have to deal with that constantly. Like, we know, like, yeah, you're dealing with this because you're a woman, okay? And that's sexist. But when people are rude to you and being insulting, and then you try to pretend that this is beyond just people being dicks and being rude, and that because you know that, saying, people are rude is not going to get you that much sympathy. Accusations of sexism, racism, transphobia, and all of that will have the stinging power that you need. Telling people that, this person was a fucking asshole, rude, like, look at how he's talking to me. People are like, yeah, well, people are rude. Yeah, that sucks. They shouldn't have done that. It doesn't have the stinging power. But you have to say that this is because you're a woman, because then people would like, oh, that's the sympathy points that you want to get. But she goes beyond just saying that this was sexist. Hold on.
Now, what I am here to say is that this harm that Mr. Yoho levied.
Okay, so by the way, I want you guys to disagree with me, and I will address your disagreements. For example, GV saying, I don't think Yoho would have confronted another big dude like this. Are you sure? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's sexism. Maybe it's not. But how do you know? Right? I'm not saying it wasn't sexism, but you can't just say it was sexism, right? Maybe it was. But maybe he's also has been rude to other men as well. Like, why? You think the size of the person intimidates these people? I don't. Yeah, maybe you're right, but you can't just say it was sexism if you don't know.
It tried to levy against me was not just an incident directed at me, but when you do that to any woman, what Mr. Yoho did was give permission to other men to do that to his daughters.
Do you hear that, guys? First of all, I think it's sexist if you think that you shouldn't be rude to people if they're a woman. That is like that is sexist too. That's way of thinking is sexist against women, I think. And like, we are like, women are strong, okay? You can't be like, there needs to be a different standard when it comes to being rude towards women than we're being against men. If you try act like, you know what, you can be rude to men, but you can't be rude to women. You're treating women like they're these sensitive, like delicate flowers that can't be attacked, right? I'm not saying be rude to people, but don't act like it's above and beyond, like beyond, more disgusting if somebody is being rude to a woman than just to anybody else, right? But she's also now saying something extremely ridiculous. Because he was rude to you, he was giving permission to me, apparently. Apparently, us men, we have this collective mindset, and we take cues from other men, and we're like, oh, let me see what this congressperson, man or woman, congressman had, like, oh yeah, okay, great, thank you for the green light. I'm gonna go now call your daughter. Like, what the? I don't understand. Like, what the hell? See how it's getting worse. First, it was like, this guy was rude to me. Then it was like, okay, this was sexism. We're like, okay, where is this going? And getting worse and worse. So like, it wasn't just sexism. He gave a permission to all men to be rude to all women, including his own daughter. Like, this is escalating really dramatically by the second.
He gave.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me highlight some. Like he's saying, oh man, now this man's children is being dragged into it. Yeah, that's always below the belt, I think. Yeah, Razor on Twitch is also saying this is what she said is sexist. So I'm saying, if you want Armin to read your comments, please tag Atheist Republic. Yeah, that would help. Marco is saying, I am wondering though if The Rock became a congressman someday, would dare to call him a fucking dick. Yeah. Razor saying, if she thinks that he shouldn't be rude to women because of his daughters, then she thinks that women are only valuable if they are related to men. That's misogynist. I also wonder if it works the way around. Like, if she is rude to, like, if a woman is rude to men, like, let's say, imagine I'm a congressman and a woman came and said something to me and like was very like, you fucking dick. How did he do that? How could you do that? And I was like, and I was in front of camera. This woman just gave permission to everybody to come after my son because I'm a man and she's a woman and she was rude to me. And she just gave a green light for people to come after my 4-year-old son. My 4-year-old son, people. My 4-year-old son. Like, how can I imagine growing up in this world where women can be so mean to men? All right, continue.
In using that language in front of the press, he gave permission to use that language against his wife, his daughters, women in his community. And I am here to stand up to say that is not acceptable.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. All right. So apparently that was her version of the story. But then this congressman came and said like that none of that happened. He's saying something else happened, and it's now he said, she said. Do not trust any of them. Like if you don't know, you don't know. Okay, but let's see what his version is. And I know the audio is now lower, but that's not my fault. Kyle didn't adjust the audio, but let me know if you hear what he's saying. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, modern day debate is here. Wow. That's amazing, guys. Check out Modern Day Debates YouTube channel. It's amazing debates there. Especially the best one was the recent one that I had with me. By the way, check it out. So many interesting debates, and they create a great environment for people to actually challenge each other. Hold on, let me see. Michelle is saying, so I think she's triggered because he used the word bitch in their professional work environment. He knew he was using sexist language because he thought to bring up women in his family. Okay, yeah. Hold on, but is that much too different than being rude in any other way? Yeah, maybe it was a bit sexist. I mean, guys, I call people a fucking bitch sometimes. Is that sexist? If they're men, I call them a fucking dick. And if they're women, I call them a fucking bitch for being a bitch or being a dick. Like, is that sexist? I don't know. Maybe it is. If it is, then then maybe I'll stop. You can tell me, educate me. But I don't think it's like, even if I'm being sexist without noticing it, I don't think it's like, yeah, it's okay to be just like attack women because they're a woman. Like that would be sexist if you think like, oh yeah, there's a different standard because they're a woman, right? That is the definition of sexism. Not any of this. And then I give the people green light to come after the children. Like, come on, that's being dramatic. As Kyle said at the beginning when he was describing this Yoho, the Republican guy, grandiose statement, like he doesn't say that about her, right? British Pakistani atheist saying, I agree with what you're saying, but don't you think that as men we should be politer to women compared to the way we are with men? We are with men generally. Men generally have thicker skin. No, I think that is sexism. I think that double standard is actually true sexism. Women thinking men have thicker skins and women are these sensitive snowflakes. I don't think so. I mean, I'm not accusing you of. Maybe I am accusing you of sexism, but unintentional. I think that's not okay. Hold on. Let me see. Guys, tag Atheist Republic if you want me to read your comment. Marco is saying, I prefer using the word. Oh, I can't even say that. Just read it off of the screen. Both for men and women. We are equal after all. Can I say that? I don't even know what the rules are, guys. Mal Brain is saying it was silly that what he did. Yeah, it was silly. It was like, but guys, he's gonna say he didn't do any of that. We'll see. He just gave her another scene to act out in the great Scold play. She'll change her name to Meryl's. I don't know how to read this. And now I don't know what you're referring to. This probably is a joke that is flying over my head. Razor saying, I agree that thinking men have thicker skin is kind of sexist. Yep. Even if he said all of those things, if he did say all of those things, he's a rude asshole, and that's not, as a politician, that's not the standard that we expect. I mean, I don't know, but I think you could call out somebody for being rude without escalating it to like, yeah, you're also sexist, okay? Because rude just doesn't cut it anymore. But he's now going to say that he actually didn't say any of those things, and let's see what Carl responds when we see his version. I know the volume is low, guys, when he talks, but let me know if you could understand what he's saying. If not, then I'll repeat.
Well, I can go into that, but that was something, and I asked her if we could have a minute of her time and ask her a question.
You did? Because she said you just accosted her. She didn't know what was coming at her. And then she said you called her disgusting. Did you call her disgusting?
No, ma'am. I was coming down from voting from the Capitol as I walk across, as I always do. And I was coming up she was coming up the stairs, and I asked her, I says, hey, do you have a minute? She goes, yes. And we've never had a conversation before. And I wanted to ask her about this policy that she was telling people it was okay to shoplift if you were hungry. And it went backwards from there.
So, but did you call her disgusting? And did you suggest that she was losing her mind? Did you use those words? You never said she was disgusting. You never said she was losing her mind.
No, everything was directed at policy. When she told me that, yes, she thought it was right for people to go ahead and shoplift if you're hungry, I said, seriously?
You guys can hear what he's saying, right? So one person says that you can't, the other person saying you can.
With as many social programs and faith-based programs and all these other and food.
So if you can't hear what he's saying, he's basically saying that she didn't say any of those things against her. She said he was saying that her policy and her policy and her plan is ridiculous. He didn't target her personally.
Kitchens around. The best that you can do is to offer people in your district to go ahead and shoplift while you're calling at the same time to defund the police. I said, those are just absolutely the most frickin' crazy policy ideas I've ever had. And I said, your policy ideas are disgusting. And I turned around and walked away.
So he's saying he didn't say bitch. He said your policies are disgusting. Well, let me see. Policies are disgusting. Fucking bitch. They don't sound the same. Do they sound the same? Did she misheard him? Or either she misheard him or one of them is lying.
And that
now,
was
when
really
you turned around and walked away.
And if you think you know, then you are not being skeptical, okay? If any of you, because of whether you're left-leaning or right, like let's say you're right-leaning and you think the Republican guy is telling the truth and AOC is lying, you're being biased. And if you're left-leaning and you think like AOC is lying, the Republican guy is telling the truth, you're not being skeptical. There's no fucking way you could know who's telling the truth. Or maybe they're both telling the truth and AOC just misheard. There's three options here. And if you know which one of these they are, if you think you know which one of them is true, then you are not being skeptical. There's no way you could know.
As that interaction lasted.
These stories are so totally different that the two of you are telling. So it's kind of hard to know, which version is the.
Okay, so GV is saying it's not he said, she said, though, Armin. An independent journalist heard him say bitch. Okay, that will reduce their skepticism a little bit, but not by much. I mean, independent journalists, I've met independent journalists. Okay, so that doesn't say much, but okay. I'm not saying, but again, I'm not saying if somebody knows more and they have less skepticism because they know more, then that's more valid than somebody that just decides which one is right based on no information. Like, say if they're like, Armin, how could you be this skeptical? Look, I have these informations, and based on this information, you should be less skeptical. I'm like, okay, well, you had that information. I didn't have that information. Without that information, I should have been more skeptical. Bert is saying congressmen have killed each other in duels before. Marco is saying perhaps he said to her, I believe fucking bitch. Okay, Marco, stop, cut it out. Tim is saying fourth opinion, they are both possibly lying. Maybe, I don't know. Razor saying, do you think it's possible that one of them is more likely to be lying than the other one? Yeah, of course one of them is more likely. I just don't know which one because I don't have the information. David, make sure the comments are about the topics that we're discussing.
The truth. But when you turned around and walked down the stairs, did you refer to her as a F word, B word?
No, I walked down the steps and I said, this is just such frickin' BS. But
oh, wait, that sounds more like a fucking bitch. So he said, this is fucking bullshit. So that's what he said. So if he said this is fucking bullshit, that might have come across as fucking bitch. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe he's lying. Maybe he did say fucking bitch and now he's backfiring and he's like, no, that's not what I said. Maybe. All of this is possible.
And that's all I said. And then a reporter came up to me and said, what was that about? I said, no comment. Did you say this? I said, no comment. And I left.
He's saying I said this is such fucking BS. She's saying he called me a fucking bitch. She's saying that he said you're disgusting, crazy, and out of your mind. He's saying I didn't say you're disgusting. I said that's disgusting, talking about a position she has. He didn't really say that he didn't say she's crazy and out of her mind, though, so he probably said those things for sure.
Really? He probably said those things for sure. First of all, probably and for sure are a contradiction. Second of all, just like he was going through the list of the things that the reporter at Fox gave him, and he was telling him what he actually said. Like, again, I'm not saying he didn't say that, but is that the line of reasoning we're going to use? Because he didn't go through the list and deny every single one of them, then he probably said the ones that he didn't deny. Like, is that how we are coming up with our conclusions?
She said that he just kind of walked up and started like immediately. He's saying I asked her if she had a minute of her time, if I could have a minute of her time. So like they're saying that it unfolded in different ways, clearly. I do have to say, though.
What do you think he's going to say now, okay? What do you think he's going to say? So he covered this before when he had AOC side, and now he has the Republican guy's side. What is he going to say now that he has multiple contradictory reports of what actually happened?
Wrap it up. We got to go.
We got to go. Like, we got to go. Nothing to see here. We got to go.
Here. What are we doing here? You know, when you're younger, you look at Congress, you look at politics.
We gotta go. But once there's an alternative report of what happened, we gotta go. Like if it was once, okay. So he was all over this. Okay, when AOC was giving his count, he was like, oh my god, look at this. This is disgusting. Look at the apology. It's ridiculous. And now that we have the other side, that maybe it didn't happen the way, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. We don't know. But come on, guys, just nothing to see here anymore. What are we talking about? Is this even important? Is it? I know I was covering it just like 3 days ago, but now, like, come on, guys, this is not worth our time now. Let's move on.
Politicians, and you think, oh well, these people who are smarter and better than me are on top of everything. And then you watch something like this unfold, and you're like, oh no, that's actually not the case at all. They're human beings, and they're deeply flawed human beings, and this is like a high school thing that we're watching unfold here. That's what this is. This is like a high school thing. And I have to say, even though the media is having a field day with this.
You are having a field day with it, Kyle.
A field day with this. I don't think your average American gives a fuck about the altercation that happened between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Yoho.
You covered it. I
don't think your average American gives a fuck. You want to know why? 32% of the country couldn't pay their July housing payment. 28 million Americans could be homeless within the next year or two. 28 million. We have like anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million right now. We're talking about 28 million.
But why is it all of a sudden not that important once we have two sides? It was important for you. You're part of the media. It was important for you to cover it when we had the Democratic side, but all of a sudden this is childish and not important. Now that we have two sides of the story, now that we have to move on.
We have a country that's falling apart. We have 20% real unemployment. We have a pandemic where 140,000 people are dead. So we got to stop. Like, we got to go. And, you know, listen, it doesn't require any convincing to me that Ted Yoho is trash. Like, that does.
Okay, I'm seeing some people can disagree with me in the live chat. By the way, guys, let me tell you what this makes me, why I cover this, okay? Because I want to know if I'm being biased, okay? Because I see, like, I watch like Kyle Kulinski, and I see stuff, and I watch Tim Pool, and they both saying that they're objective and they're not being biased. And I watch them, and I'm like, Kyle, I feel like you are being biased. There's same behavior that you see from both sides. You're not treating them the same. You're obviously being extremely biased. And then I see Tim Pool, and Tim Pool is like, oh, I'm not even right wing. And then like he keeps on defending Trump over like the same behavior that he will defend Trump for if he was coming out of the left, like way worse things by Trump he excuses, or Republicans he excuses, and mild things by the left he goes after like they are committing the worst. He acts like they're human rights violations, and like you're obviously being biased against the left. How are you not seeing how biased you're being against the left? Or like when Kyle, I'm saying, are you not seeing how biased you're being against the right? Like, are you not? Because I know I'm biased, but I'm hoping that when I'm biased, I tell you my biases. For example, I'm extremely biased against religion, right? But sometimes, I mean, Kyle also sometimes admits that he's biased, but sometimes on some areas he acts like he's objective, but he's being a hypocrite. And either he doesn't notice it, either he knows and pretends that it's not there, or he doesn't notice that he's being biased. And if he doesn't notice that he's being biased, he's not an idiot. Then I'm probably not noticing. It scares me because I'm pretty sure that I'm being biased on many things without noticing it. And that's why I do these shows live with you, because I want to know where I'm being biased, because it can't be like just these people. I can't be like, oh, look at these hypocrites. They're being so biased. And I'm above all these people. I am Armin here. I'm objective. I recognize my hypocrisy if it ever happens. No, it doesn't happen to me. When I see that it happen, like I know I must be biased somewhere that I'm not noticing it. So I'm hoping that by doing these live stream with you guys and going through your comments, at least some of the bias that I have, it's pointed out to me, right? I think that's the only way. That's the only way, right? I'm not sure though. Maybe I'm so stubborn and I will never notice it, right? Let me see what some of your comments. Michael is saying, Kyle, as a secularist and an atheist, has more credibility than a religious nutcase like Yoho. I don't agree with that at all. Just because atheists who are, being an atheist just means that you got the answer to one question right. That doesn't give you credibility on other questions, right? GV is saying, I don't think that's where he is coming from, Armin. He wouldn't have released this video and presented Yoho's case if he wanted to bury this incident. Well, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, okay. So to be fair to Kyle, he's not 100% biased, like Tim Pool level bias. Okay, that what you're describing, GV, is Tim Pool level bias. Okay, Kyle at least has a decency to tell you if there's an update. But they're still biased. Like just because there's his coverage of it is biased. So I agree, JV. If he did what you're describing, it would be even more biased. Soha is agreeing with me, but Ahmed is agreeing with JV. He did only one video on it, Armin. You're reading too much into his motives. I'm not. Okay, first of all, bias does not really require motives, because when you're biased, if you're unaware of your bias, then that doesn't suggest that your motives are not right. Because for your motives to be bad, you have to actually actively think like, oh, let me actually present a bias case on purpose. So I'm not suggesting anything bad about his motives. I'm just saying that he's looking at it with a biased way, hopefully without even noticing it, because if he does notice it, then he's just being dishonest. British Pakistani atheist saying Temple is a complete and utter trash. Well, I mean, I don't want to be like that aggressive. I would say that he's extremely, extremely biased, disgustingly biased. So I agree with that. Soha is reminding everybody to make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitch, and also hit the bell button. Thank you, Soha, for doing my job for me. And follow Atheist Republic on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Discord channel. We have Discord server. Sorry, such a boomer thing to say. Discord server in the description. Make sure you join. Bert is saying Kyle takes credit for helping AOC get elected to Congress, so you can't really expect him to be non-biased about her. I mean, to be fair to Kyle, he did call out AOC one time. I remember when she was playing identity politics card too much. So, but I think again, he's not like 100% biased, but he is biased. Jay is saying I'm biased against bias. I am saying bias a little bit too much right now, but again, British Pakistani atheist saying, can you also respond to videos to people who claim to be unbiased on the right? Yes. Who? Like, again, Tim Pool pretends to not be on the right, but he is. I could do some Tim Pool ones. You seem to be focused on calling out people on the left. What are you talking about? Look at my videos, guys. Okay, what? Okay, let me see. Am I biased for people on the, hold on, let me see my Atheist Republic videos calling out people. I am actually actively making sure that I'm going after people on the right as well. You guys are not being fair to me. Maybe I am biased, right? But see, this is why I love you guys, okay? Because you guys, so last video, we went after China for the way they treat Muslims. Can you, I don't know, China is left-leaning. Islam, I think we went after Islam. Islam is right-leaning. Okay, we went after identity politics. That's going after the left. We went after Black Hebrew Israelites. This one, I went after Trump administration for violating people's civil rights in the Portland. That's me going after right. Do you want me to do more right-wing? I do more right-wing. I can do more right. I would love to do more right-wing. I will let you guys also know, even when I go after left-leaning, after a woke cult, I use it as an excuse to point, because I know those videos usually attracts a lot of alt-right people. So I kind of like bringing a lot of alt-right people. And then in that video, I talk about how systemic racism against Black people is a real thing, how every statistic shows that there's bias against Black people in the United States. So even the ones that are, the title is targeted against left-leaning, against the left, it's kind of also a trap. It's kind of like a sneaky trap for bringing in alt-right people and then exposing them to some information to why their narratives are not correct as well. So you have to judge that. You have to consider that as well. Right. Anyways, hold on. You guys are giving me too many comments now. Should I continue with the video or just read your comments? I got a super chat from Marco. AOC is very pretty, while Yoho is even balder than me. She wins. Okay, that is sexist, Marco. That is definitely sexist. But you gave me a super chat, so it's not sexist because you gave me €5. That is not sexist at all. All right, should I continue with the video? Yeah.
Doesn't require any convincing at all. He's a Republican congressman who admits that he was on food stamps when he was a kid, and now he supports cutting food stamps. He said, "Oh, I was poor. I know how terrible it is."
Okay, now the rest of the video is just going about how bad his policies are, but I'm not sure.
He's not even in favor of raising the minimum wage to a living wage. So he wants.
But again, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if this is relevant to what the topic was.
People to work full time and still be poor, and he was poor. It takes zero convincing to tell me that Ted Yoho is trash.
Okay. So because his policies are trash and Kyle doesn't like it, then he has no credibility. So it doesn't. We don't even need. Oh, so you're saying we don't even need this drama for him to be. So I guess this is what you do, right? So this is kind of like, imagine if I called out, I said like, oh, that person, he was very sexist towards my wife. And then there's reports come out and then you realize that, oh, maybe actually it wasn't sexist. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. It's not so sure. We're not so sure anymore. Then instead of being like, oh, maybe I made a mistake, then instead of making a video and saying that, hey, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe he was being sexist. Maybe he wasn't. Instead of that, instead of addressing the fact that I made a mistake, I come out and make a video like, who cares? Who cares whether he's sexist to my wife or not? We already know he's a piece of shit. Look at all this. Don't look over here. Don't look at what I said before. Look over here. Look. We already agree that he's a piece of shit. So the fact that I might have been wrong earlier is irrelevant. Don't pay attention to that. Pay attention. This is what it sounds like to me. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. British Pakistani atheist saying that's a really bad point by Kyle. Simply because he disagrees with Yoho's political position does not make him a liar. Exactly. See, guys, I just noticed my own bias, right? Because when GV is disagreeing with me, I'm reading it like this. Oh, GV is saying this. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's right. Yeah, GV, you don't have a point. Maybe I don't know. No, you're kind of wrong over here. But when British Pakistani atheist is saying something I agree with, I'm like, yeah, you're right. See, I noticed my own bias just right now. Michelle is saying, I think that's a logical fallacy, but I forget the name of it. I'm not sure which one as well.
Okay, that's obvious to me. That's clear. But we don't need, that's it. It's over. We don't need to dive into it. You don't need to, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doing this thing where she's saying, like, by calling me a bitch, he's basically calling all women bitches because he's giving the green light for, people to say it to other women, to say it to his daughter, to say it to his wife or whatever. We get it. He's a piece of trash.
It came so close. I thought he's gonna say, "Come on, that's uncalled for. That is too much. That is an exaggeration." I thought he was gonna say that. He made the aisle rolling thing as well. But he's like, "No, we get it. He's a piece of trash." Like he kind of No, you should have called it. This would have been a great moment to call out AOC for trying to make everything identity politics. Everything under the sun has to be somehow related to identity politics. You called her out before. This was a good point. I think he was almost going to do it.
Point made. Let's go. Let's move on. Point
made.
Here.
Really?
And, unfortunately, I do think that this whole thing, it's just a stark reminder that this is the shit they're actually thinking about. This is the shit that they're actually thinking about. This is what they're actually talking about behind.
Yeah, also AOC. You keep, they includes AOC. Why are you just mentioning Coho? But in that day includes AOC. Call her out as well.
Closed doors. It is all like high school. And it is all like personal. And yeah, I would hope, because I'm freaking.
Can you say that AOC was being childish, just like you specifically called that Yoho for this?
Naive as hell. I would have hoped that people in Congress are just sitting around thinking about ideology, what their ideology is, and their personal philosophies, and what policies to fix the country. And even if they disagree with me, I would hope that they're thinking through, how do we implement a vision to get the country from point A to point B? They're not. They're flawed people. It's like any workplace anywhere in the country. Flawed people who, are social beings and who care about personal petty drama, unfortunately, probably over the country and what to do to fix it. So at this point, I'm just annoyed. I was somewhat...
You would not make a video. Why is she not calling out AOC the same way that, all of the things you said AOC was doing?
Early on, I remember hearing about the story and going oh, it was interesting. And I was like, all right, let's talk about this. And it just so happened that by the time I did my last segment, Ted Yoho had done his ridiculous non-apology apology. And so, we spoke about it after that. But at this point, I'm watching this and I'm going,
So see, this is what, GV, the reason why he's making this video is because he realized how he couldn't ignore his first video, right? He couldn't just leave it. He had to say something, but he's not acknowledging that video maybe it was a mistake. So he can't just leave it. But he's making his, he's saying Yoho has made his non-apology apology. He's making his own non-apology apology.
Let's go. Let's move on. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to think about this. I don't want to talk about this. I want you guys.
Okay, this is what I think it would have happened. Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if the original story was in favor of the Republican and then it came out that there's two sides to the story, and the Democrat has not. I mean, he doesn't like Democrats. Like his crew, the progressive side, came out and corrected the story. I think he would be on top of it, like, oh my God, look, this is the actual story, guys. He wouldn't be like, move on, come on, guys. Let's not. He would be like, look, they always lie. This is the right side of the story. For all the people that just believe the first story, look how ridiculous you look. This is what he would say, I think. So he wouldn't be like with this, like, oh, come on, guys, come on, cut it out, move on, nothing to see here. I think that's extremely, biased.
To be bigger than regular people, and I want to move on here. So it, what it seems like to me? It seems like there is sort of this yearning for the continuation of the civility and decorum mindset in DC. And even that's going away, especially in the era of Trump. And when you look at the Republicans like Ted Yoho, they're so thoroughly brainwashed by Fox News that he thinks Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is like actively trying to destroy the country. And he thinks she's greenlighting people to commit crimes if they're poor, when what she was doing is trying to explain where she thinks crime comes from.
All right, so if all of that is valid, what you just said, then you are admitting that none of his attack was because she was a woman. All of his attack was because he's been brainwashed and he thinks AOC is destroying the country, and he believes these conspiracy theories and all of that. So none of those reasons that he's attacking AOC involves him thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to go after this person because she's a woman rather than a man. So can you mention that then AOC is calling out sexism where maybe there is no sexism? Can you say that?
Not giving a green light for it or whatever.
There you go.
This is all too indicative of what's happening in the country right now. You have the Republicans who have totally lost their minds, and they're complete assholes. The elected Republicans, I mean.
Okay. To be fair, that was a nice clarification. I mean, even though I don't think all of the elected Republicans have lost their mind, but it was nice for him not to collectively blame all the people who identify as Republican as being in having lost their mind. So this is a correction that I expect from. It's good to see that Kyle makes, and I've seen some other people do not. Some other people collectively think if you're a Republican, you must be a fascist, you must be a racist, and all of that.
And they've been so brainwashed by Fox News that like they can't see straight. They think the Democrats are like Satan. But then you have the Democrats, and it's like, what's the focus there?
GV saying it can be both, Armin. Nobody in Congress is calling Bernie the B word. Yeah, they would call it something, maybe as insult that is more specific to men. And then GV saying even though he and AOC support the same policies. Well, I mean, I don't think so. They do swear at. Okay, here's the thing, GV. Look at what you just said. It can be both. Right? Even if we go by what you say. Yes, I agree. It can be both. Is it? I don't know. Right? Did I say it's not? No. But you are being skeptical, GV. What your claim is that that's from the beginning. I say it could have been sexism. From the beginning, I said it could have been sexism. And it could also not have been sexism. It's possible. And your comment here also acknowledges that it can be both, but you didn't say it is both, right? So you are also being skeptical. So AOC is acting like she knows that it was sexism. Michelle is saying, yeah, but I think conservatives are more triggered by AOC than they are by males in Congress with similar politics, possibly because she's a woman. I agree that that's very probable and very, very likely. I'm almost certain that is true. Okay? I am almost certain that is true on a net basis, like as a whole. I also think that a lot of people are triggered by Ilhan Omar, everything she says, because she has a hijab. and that's unfair. Okay, I agree with you guys that this is a trend and this is true, but you cannot. That doesn't mean that you could look at an one event and be like, oh, this is definitely sexism. If you don't know, you could say it's probably sexism. You could say it might be sexism. You could say that, hey, given the trends that I'm seeing and how biased people are, when a woman says this compared to a man say this person being insulting to a woman might be part of that trend. But there's no way you could know this. There's no way you could know this for sure. British Pakistani is saying, I don't follow Kyle closely, but I thought he was generally more nuanced than this. However, people who follow a single dogmatic perspective seem to grow quickly in followers, which encourages them to continue down the same path, which is why nuanced, unbiased people like you are so desperately needed, as you do not preach a simple dogmatic view to the converted. Wait, so are you saying that our channel will never grow? Is that what you're saying? That's great. Jay saying, maybe this guy is sexist, but saying bitch wouldn't be evidence of that. Yeah, I agree. Maybe he is sexist. Maybe he was being sexist here.
Civility and decorum. Oh, why can't we just get along and can't you be like a better person? That ship has sailed. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That ship has sailed. There ain't no hope for these fuckers, okay? There's no hope.
Yeah.
So you could give 1,000 grandstanding speeches from now until you're 80, and it ain't going to change Dickie McGee's acts.
But that's not the point. She's not trying to change his opinion. He's trying to go viral on Twitter.
Terms of...
And get more people to... Okay, guys. This is what I think. Again, I'm not sure, okay? This is what I think AOC thinks. If I go and make a very passionate speech and call out, sexism, and be like, oh, they just green like they're coming after your wives and daughters because of what they did to me. This is not about me, guys. This is not about me. This is about all the women in America. That is like, throwing meat at the lions for the progressives. Like, oh my, look, yes, yeah, our champion, and that video is gonna go viral, and my following will grow. And she knows that her following on Twitter and on Instagram, it gives her so much power over, like, she has so much influence over all these other boomer Democrats that do not even know how to operate Twitter. Like, she knows that she has an advantage over them, and she could change, she has a following and she has influence over people's ideas. And these videos are just, she's like, we have like online content creators, and then we have politicians. Like, for a very long time, politicians like go to traditional media, and then recently they went to alternative, social media content creators to change people's opinions. And now we have a new thing where the politician herself is like an online content creator, and she's like, I'm bypassing all of you guys, right? Trump, she's the Trump of the Democrats, okay? So Trump does the same thing. So I'm like, I have like so many followers on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I don't need you guys anymore, right? They know that they could, they have the power because they control their own media, their own brand now, right? Their own media center. It's like they're having their own personal CNN. So, and this is how you get ratings. It's the same way CNN gets more ratings if they get something cover something interesting. She's not only thinking about in the form of votes anymore. She's also thinking about eyeballs and ratings and number of followers and all that stuff. Hold on, let me see. Marco is saying, I have a close female friend who is a congresswoman in Slovenia. She told me that her male colleagues are often sexist towards her. When off camera, politics is still a male sport. Yeah, I completely agree. I that is something that I'm not very skeptical of. Like, that is something that I'm almost certain that is true. Very probably everywhere, right? So again, that being true is not mutually exclusive than saying if somebody is rude to you and they're a man and you're a woman, that must have been sexism. Okay, those saying that what Marco is saying here is true, and saying that you cannot just call out something sexist if you don't know if it's sexist, these two claims are not mutually exclusive. Michelle is saying, fair point when it comes to Twitter and media attention. She's like Trump's antithesis. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's the power that you can get, and you could use it for good and you could use it for bad. But like trying to gain that power by its own, that inherently is not a bad thing. But let's continue.
How they act and what they do and the things they say. And so in some ways, I just feel like there's no point in doing the whole, like, let's try to yearn for the days of civility and decorum. And maybe that's me because I have a uniquely thick skin and I'm used to, like, taking all sorts of nonsense. Maybe that's why. But when
So would you tell AOC to not complain if people are rude to her, and we don't need to go back to polite civil decorum or whatever you just said? And would you say to AOC, based on what you just said, that we don't need to go back to that? Would you tell AOC that just grow a thicker skin? Would you tell her that? Because that would be like a political suicide for your channel.
I look at this, I think there's no reason to even waste our breath trying to do the whole, like, you're treating all women like this, and that's unacceptable.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Even if he
called it out, he made fun of it. Okay, good. I like that part.
Agreed with that point, he still wouldn't care. He'd be like, yeah, so? Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. What's his point? Is he saying it was wrong, or does it sound wrong?
No reason to even waste our breath trying to do the whole, like, you're treating all women like this, and that's unacceptable. Even if he agreed with that point, he still wouldn't care. He'd be like, yeah, so?
Okay, so he kind of said that that's ridiculous, right? Because he didn't say it, but his tone suggests that that's ridiculous thing to say. So on that point, Kyle agrees with me, so that's good.
Yeah, is what I do. Whoop-de-doo. So, I don't know. I think the Democrats need to, like, get past this yearning for civility and decorum. Ted Yoho is a piece of trash. But that's fine. Like, let him be a piece of trash and let the world see who he really is. But for us, there's no reason to, like, try to get him back to some semblance of civility and decorum. This is who they are. Let them rep it. Let them show the world. And, meanwhile, if we just swat them aside and we plow forward and focus on policy to improve people's lives, I think that speaks volumes.
So I wish, like, what he did. So this was the last part was a bit better, right? So I still think he was biased when it comes to telling people to move on. Once the story had two sides, now he did kind of made fun of AOC, not directly, but like what he does when, for example, when men complain about people using. So this is what he does. Like, to be fair to Kyle, he does mention that people should, like, grow a thicker skin and not language police other people, right? But he tells that more directly to men than he says it to women, right? So I think that is sexist, right? So if AOC, for example, maybe, okay, again, I need to be consistent with my skepticism here. I don't want to say Kyle would do this, I'm not sure. But if AOC was a man, based on what I've seen of his previous video, the way I think this video would have gone, it would be like, oh, these people are crying, like AOC, like this is what he would say. He would change his tone and he would be like, oh, people were mean to me, oh, boo-hoo me. Like he didn't do that with AOC, but he might have done that if she was a man, like, but you know what I mean? So I think there's a bias here, but the bias is the other way around. Maybe I'm wrong. Smithy saying, I haven't noticed that. Notice what? Like when people say, like, oh, people were mean to me on the internet, or oh, people language. He says that about, okay, Smithy, he does say that about when people complain about Trump's tone. This is one thing I agree with Kyle a lot on. When people complain about Trump's tone rather than how destructive his policies are, he makes fun of them for tone policing him. and he thinks that doesn't matter, and then he mocks them, and he changes his voice and makes sort of like a whiny, complainy, crying baby voice, and tells them this is how you sound. But would he do that right now with AOC? Like, would he change his voice and be like, AOC, this is what you sound like now? You sound like a crying baby, tone policing people. Like, would he do that now? That would be consistent if he did that. Oh, Smithy is asking a very interesting question. What if she was Nancy Pelosi? Smithy, you're right. You're calling me out on my calling out skeptic. You're right, Smithy. Smithy pointed out my bias here, that maybe it's not. Maybe the reason why he's holding back is not because AOC is a woman, but maybe he's holding back because AOC is a progressive like he is. So maybe I saw sexism here without sexism against men here, even if that didn't exist. Maybe the explanation is something else. Yes, you're right, Smithy. Maybe I was just guilty. I was just guilty of the same thing I was accusing Kyle AOC of, because I saw sexism where there might have not been sexism. Maybe the bias was progressive versus mainstream Democrat. Thank you. This is why I do these live streams, right? This is why I do these live streams. Anyways, anything else you guys want to say before I go? I'm gonna leave now, but I really like hanging out with you guys, and you guys calling me out on my bullshit publicly. I try to highlight more the people who call me out and disagree with me than the people who agree with me. Maybe I think I am, maybe I'm not. But anyways, check the description of this. You could, everything that you need. You could follow Atheist Republic everywhere, but you could also follow me personally everywhere, like on my own personal accounts and our Discord server. You could support our show. You could sign up for our newsletter and all of that. Thank you. And also, guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Twitch and hit the bell button on YouTube. Please, we want to really make this channel. British Pakistani Atheist said that we have no hope here because we are not tribal and we go after every side. Can you show that that's not true, that we could actually maybe grow? Maybe there's a hope for us for our channel. Like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and like this video. Look, it looks like this. Here, I'll do it here so you guys can see. See, that was easy, right? I just did that. Okay, you could do this with our do it now. All right, bye guys. Oh.